Hello everyone, this is Plankera, and welcome to my universe. Today, we're going to continue rigging Shalom from Path to Nowhere. So last time, did a bunch of stuff with the front bangs and all the stuff in that area, and so now I just wanted to continue making a few corrections there. When I was looking at it this morning, I kind of thought that this little area here, the shadow there, was a bit long. So I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit shorter. And something caught my throat there. And there we go. Now I feel a little bit better. So I'll just slide this on up real quick. And then we'll see how everything looks. I noticed the same problem in the right head turn as well, so once I get it looking the way I want here, I will also make the correction there. Still got a little thing sticking out right there. So I'll get him back into place as well. I just need to do something like this. Yeah, there we go. Getting a good feel for how all of these vertices connect to each other now, so I can generally tell what little shift I need to make in order to get exactly what I want. Alright, so let's fix down here too. This way it doesn't quite go... Whoop. I don't know, I just think it looks kind of funny. I think I'm just easily amused by these things. Side effect of working on hair for, what, it's been like 3 months now. Something like that. It's okay. I believe in the process. I believe that someday I will be free from all of this hair. But until then, here I am, doing hair. Okay. I think it should be good now. Let's take a look. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay, so that means I can just move on to the next area. Definitely so far so good. I think I've gotten quite a lot of that already figured out. Yeah. So, as usual, I'll just go ahead and jump into everything over here. I think I want to smooth out the tunnel just a little bit more. And I'll figure out what to do from there. Just start getting the connecting hair down and get all these little tunnels down and all that good stuff. Just slowly but surely get everything into place here. Yeah, I think that looks a little bit smoother. Okay, so first things first. I'm going to divide this hair into like a few different clumps based on the shadows that run through here. So we have this one right here, and then we have this line, and then this next little clump, and then another line, and then this clump, and then there's another line, and then there's this one. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it right now, and I want to get all of those little shadows into good spots. More so focused on the shadows than the highlights here, just because the shadows are kind of what break up everything. And they make good little landmarks for where things should be going. So I kind of noticed that it was a little bit, some of the shadows felt a little bit high up, if that makes sense, where everything was kind of sliding upward and moving in weird directions in that sense, so I'm kind of pushing them back down. It is making things a bit straighter through here, so we'll see if that looks okay when the time comes. For now, I'm just going to spend a little bit of time making everything a little bit less wrinkly and weird. Not fully insisting on smoothing things out, I'm just, yeah, kind of getting the initial details in. And I've found that a good way to tell if you're on the right track is whether or not I can make things look smooth and not distorted. So that's kind of how I was planning on getting started there. And yeah, it looks like I can actually afford to make certain areas a little bit rounder through here. So I can bring some roundness back into this. So something like that. Okay, yeah, just getting all that nice and smooth. Okay, so now it's poofed out a little bit. I did not fix this one, but that's okay. I will do that after. I think I'm going to focus on this big shadow first, because that one is the biggest and the most clear, and I think it'll help me get an idea of where everything else should go to. So right now it looks like everything is sliding up considerably. Like, it's just moving on up. It's like relative to the down angle, it should definitely be moving upward a little bit, but not as much as it currently is. So I'm gonna pull some of these things down. I'll worry about the lower area later. Right now I don't think I'm gonna go any further than the highlights on this hair, and really I'm mostly worried about how it's connecting over here. But in order for me to get a good feel for that, I also kind of want to worry about the highlights. I guess you could say they're what's bothering me most at the moment, so they're what I want to go fix. That's how I approach painting a lot in general, just whenever I get up and look at whatever picture that I've been drawing and working on, I just look for the area that I'd like the least at the moment. And I draw from there. What layer is that? It's like I'm just looking and there's like this big red spot right here. And it's not quite like that on any of the other urns. So I was kind of looking around and trying to figure out what was causing that shape. But yeah, it looks like it's something on Just the bank right here. I probably just wanted to expand some things out through here. Because I didn't like the way that it was looking right there. I don't know. I thought it looked strange. It still looks maybe a little bit strange, but... Nah, now that I zoom out, it's fine. Okay. It's just a hazard of being at like 1000% zoom. Okay. So yesterday I took a bit of a break from art stuff, but today I plan to do both a weekly speed paint and to record the voiceover for my time-lapse of my painting of Zero. So I'll be doing that today. We'll see if I get the video itself up, but given it takes like 8 hours to render it, might not. I gotta say, video production is pretty wild, just in terms of what you can do with it and some of what goes into it. It's like I never figured that it would be like super easy or anything, just based on what I've seen people make. But some of the little things are just yeah, they're not what I expected. I was not expecting to have to spend all day rendering one video, especially just, you know, a 20-minute one. So I always wonder if these people that make way more complicated videos than I do, how long they're having to wait, and just how they handle corrections and all of that stuff. There's a lot to learn. Kind of feel that way about the world in general. There's a lot to see and a lot to do. Always makes me wish I had a bit more time. Okay, so I think these are actually connecting pretty well. I think it looks pretty good. I guess I already kind of figured most of that out, or either I did or the interpolation did, but point is, I think it looks pretty good. Okay. So now I guess I can just go back into the curl of the shadows into these highlights. And I'll just keep going. Yeah. Let's keep going. One step at a time. And with every step I take, I get a little bit closer to hair physics, and I'm just like, yeah. Oh man, am I looking forward to being able to do hair physics. So much. It's like, man, I've, a lot of the people that have come through here are not familiar with rigging, so I'm just so excited to show off what a big difference just adding those physics makes just to the liveliness of the model. And I'm sure that there'll be some days where I just zoom out and start swishing her head around just to watch the hair move. Oh, that day's coming. The head angles will be done soon. I believe in myself. I got this. Alright, now I think I'm going to start moving things around relative to the tunnel. Overall, I think the tunnel looks pretty okay. Pushed this one a little bit too high, but as you can see that this is connected to the triangle down here. And so if I push this too high, this starts coming up too. So that'll give me a fairly good clue as to where all of these things should be going. And I was also finding myself a little bit unsatisfied with how this little highlight running through here is running through the tunnel. And just how far apart certain areas were. So let's take a look at it now. Yeah, that's definitely looking a little bit better, and now I think I can just kind of mess around, increase the roundness of the area, and hopefully get everything going that way. Guess while I excuse me, while I poke at this, I had been thinking about some childhood experiences of mine in terms of, I don't know, just how the tiny ones think of the world and what I should be doing with my own children and stuff. And I had this very distinct memory of, I doubt it was my first time camping, but it's the first time I remember. and the only time that I really just remember having this strong of a memory. We were camping kind of a rocky area by this whitewater river. We were pretty far away from the river, though. My stepdad at the time wanted to go whitewater rafting in it. And we were a fair distance out by just a small little creek that fed into the river. But mostly the area was just kind of mountainous and rocky. We were just in this small little valley by this little creek. And I wanted to go climb all the rocks, because that's just how I rolled when I was probably like 6 or 7. Something like that. And there was this line of rocks, and these prickly little bushes in front of them. And I wanted to get on top of that line of rocks, because I couldn't see over them. And there was, like, this little rock tunnel running underneath. And the bushes were just completely covering it, and I just really wanted to go through that tunnel. So I did. I just went right through the bushes. They were very prickly. And I think I got a few cuts from them that concerned my mom probably more than they should have. But I just remember getting to the other side of this long line of prickly bushes just digging into my skin. And then I come up and out into the other side, and I just see the land open up before me. Just, the sun was like hitting the rocks perfectly. And just turning them all this really, really nice yellow. And there were all these other different kinds of plants, and just like small trees and these other small bushes and things that had leaves. I saw some deer, some squirrels, various other animals just running around this kind of light, not especially thick forest. And this area was just totally covered in big rocks and other stuff that I could climb, and then I climbed on top of the rock that I wanted to get on. And I could just see everything, and it was, like, super magical. My description here is not doing it justice at all. But just going from the prickly bush to just seeing everything and seeing all the animals and all the plants and all these bright colors. And just the way the sun hit the valley, and oh, it was so pretty. That was a good day. Got to see something cool. I think so much of just, I don't know, growing as a person, seeing the world is just letting yourself be open to experiences. Doesn't matter if they're good or bad, but you know, sometimes you gotta walk through that prickly bush to see the cool rocks. And it was so worth, man. Don't even care that I had a bunch of cuts on my arm. And those things are a bigger deal when you're like 6, so... But it was just... It was very nice. I don't have very many good memories of camping, but that's certainly one. That was cool. I liked that. And I think it was worth kind of dealing with some of the bad experience of camping to have some of those good ones. Doesn't necessarily mean I want to go camping again. I'm not much of a camper, personally. But I'm glad that my mom insisted on taking me when I was like 7. Because it's like, if I hadn't gone when I was like 7, I wouldn't know that I wasn't much of a camper now. And when I was 7, I actually was more interested in doing things like going outside. I was a very different person when I was 7. And at least for me, I think the loss of interest in camping had less to do with a bunch of bad experiences, although there were some of those because my mom would always insist on going at bad times. You know, often before it really warmed up and when things were really, really windy in the areas, and it could be a bit of a mess. But even so, I think it was less due to that and more due to just me getting different interests. As I got older, I just got way more interested in computers and all the stuff I could do on it, and the internet was like the coolest thing, and could do all these things, and I just had less reason to want to go outside. And those things happen. There's nothing wrong with that. Things change, interests change. But even with that, I will have that experience in the back of my mind forever. And I'm sure that it comes out in my art sometimes. If you ever see people just climbing big rocks, I probably do have the mental image of that day in my head. And I think experiences like those are why artists very often have some recurring themes and imagery in their paintings. Just had a particular experience that just stuck with them, and even if they're not consciously aware of it, it has a way of coming out. Because that's just kind of the nature of the human mind. Our mind is perhaps a little bit less like a computer in terms of we can't just, you know, access data wherever we want. It's more like a spider web. It's just made of an infinite number of connections, more than we could possibly count. And they run lines from one thing to another thing, and that's why associations work so well for memory. Because when you can just forge a connection through your neurons like that, then you're more likely to remember things. And I think that's kind of cool. I'll always make fun of brains because they're very silly. And they think lots of very silly things. But they are a very cool piece of hardware. Just in what they allow us to do. So right now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the perspective on this strand of hair to look good. It's like I was working on the highlights of this area right here, but this big strand here kind of sits on top of them. So I wanted to figure out where it should be draping over her hair. Because even though I'm working on that other piece, how this drapes over her hair is actually an important part of getting that area to look right. So I'm just taking some time to kind of, you know, explore around. Get the angle that I want off of this strand right here. I'll still need to make sure that it lines up with the left head turn. That's the one that I am the most worried about. I think pretty much any angle I put it at will line up with the top head turn, as long as I have it vertically in the right place. Oh yeah, I think it's kind of starting to take shape there. So let's see how that lines up with the right head turn. Pretty well. Most excellent. And I actually think it's fine for it to kind of floof out this way a little bit more than what was in the right head turn, because her head is tilting back. And because her head is tilting back, it makes sense for us to see a little bit more kind of what's underneath right there. What's a little bit more on the bottom side of that hair. So I think it makes sense for it to kind of round outward. This might be a little bit too much, though. Too much relative to this? Yes. But I think it might just be that this is not rounding off enough. I've said it before, sometimes the problem is in the new turn that I'm working on, and sometimes the problem is in the turn that I'm comparing it to. And in this case, I think the problem is in the right head turn, not the upper right turn. So we'll make it just a little bit rounder through here. I think that'll make it look nice. Yeah, I think that's looking a little bit nicer. It's a little bit less flat now. And I have a little bit more room to do all kinds of nice round things up here. I wasn't expecting to jump right into this strand here, but, you know, I'm not complaining. It's fine, I have to get them all in eventually, so why not do this one now? This is what we're doing now, then, well, it's what we're doing now. before I check to make sure that this one looks good, I want to make sure that that little pink highlight that kind of separates these two strands is showing a little bit here. You can see I'm just letting it very slightly peek out the side here. Just doing a little tiny peek. There we go, and now with the strand being just a little bit rounder through here, letting some things peek out just a little bit more. I think that'll look nice. Unfortunately it is still the strand from hell, and I'm not looking forward to working on it again. But it's okay. Right now we're just doing the top part, and the top part is never that terrible. The top part is my friend. Okay, and now I have that little pink spot peeking out just a little bit more on the right turn too. Yeah, and so now I think everything is lining up a little bit better there. And I think these highlights are looking pretty good too. Let's take a look. Still got a little bit of squirming I gotta work out here, but so far so good. It's okay, it's a start. Gotta start somewhere. As starts go, this one's looking pretty good. Seemed like the interpolation for as crunchy as it made a lot of it managed to get certain parts working pretty well. Or maybe I just put them in place and I don't remember. I don't know, sometimes I can kind of get into get into my groove and I just kind of zone out and I forget everything that I did. I don't think about it too much, it's fine. If I'm that into it, then I don't think it's a bad thing, so. I don't mind letting the computer take credit for stuff that I may or may not have done. As long as everything's looking nice, I think it's fine. Alright, then I think I'm going to take a break from working on those areas, and I'm going to start addressing all the squirming that's happening on her other side bang. Because oh boy has that guy been moving. I mean, look at that. Look at that wiggle. Okay. So first things first. This underneath spot, I know, sits on top of that side bang. So I need to make it less, I don't know, crunchy. There's some crunching going on through there. And I'll let some of this kind of retreat underneath the front bang. Huh. Okay, I'll worry about that in just a sec there, but it looks like we got a funny bald spot. But I'm also looking at, like, right here, and that tells me that there's, like, a shenanigan with how this is all coming together. And if we got shenanigans there, that probably means that some things just kind of have to be moving around like this, so, yeah. There we go. See, that hole's already filled in. It's all good. This is why I'm like, I don't know, I spotted something off there. That's like, if there's already a shenanigan or two that I have to adjust, maybe I shouldn't be worrying so much about some of these other things being a little bit wrong. Like, of course there are. There's shenanigans. Like, what did I think was gonna happen? Okay, well that's already looking a lot better, actually. Just fixing up the way that underneath part worked. In fact, I might even want to adjust the angle on that a little bit more. I think I want to do it here too. Where we just show a little bit less of this dark area on the side bang there. Let the side bang just kind of cover it up. Yes. There we go. So now we see a little bit less there. And we see a little bit more of the side bang. Yeah, I think something like that could work. I'm not sure if it currently is, but I think it could. Let's see. Me revisiting the right head turn here, because I thought I noticed something. So there's like this dark shadow that runs underneath this strand here, and part of it goes on top of this area right here, and it sits on top of the side bang here. So I'm deciding, when her head turns this way, how much of that dark area should actually show. And right now I still think a little bit too much is showing. So after all, her head is turning to the right here. That means more of the stuff on the left here is going to be like on top of the stuff on the right here. So to me, that means that the angle on this dark area should be a little bit different. And then I'll just go in and let the side bang cover all this up. I still want to keep some of it, though. I do think it is important to let some of it kind of stay. Because it's kind of what connects this area together. So I want to make sure that parts like that are very much visible. Yeah. And then all I need to do is just kind of push the very top of this strand here just a little bit more this way. I feel like the apex of that curve should be a little further out. And the very bottom should be a little further to the right. That's a little bit crunchy. I'll need to fix it, but I think it's the right idea. Yeah, I think so. I changed quite a lot of the angle there. So that means I need to change a little bit more than I bargained for here, but that's okay. As always, I do like to take my time and really just check every aspect of these turns. All of the hair. I like taking the time to make everything look really good. And yeah, I think that looks a lot better. Probably even stand to round out this tunnel part a little bit more. Just lift it up a little. Don't want to do anything too drastic, but I think it can come up just a little bit here. And then I'll have to take that underneath part and make sure it actually covers everything underneath it. So we don't see just her head through her hair like that. Oh, that would definitely not be good. Yeah, now I just have to do it again up here. Same idea. So first I decide how much of this tunnel do I want to show. It's like it's going to be a little bit more than what was here. Although while I'm here, there's a bit of jank in here. Got just a little bit of crunchiness through there, so let's fix that up just a little. Okay, and now it looks a bit more like what's on the front. The default view, where I had not changed anything, looks more like that, which is what we want. After all, that front view, I have made no changes. That is basically my point of comparison. The entire point of all of this is to make everything look like that front view. Just at a slightly different angle. I didn't push any of these head angles too hard. In fact, I probably could have pushed them a little bit less hard than I did, honestly. Okay. So, if I'm thinking in terms of this dark area underneath, how much of that do I want to show? That amount actually isn't bad, but I think I want just a little bit less. Just like right there. And let me fix the angle on it a little bit too. Just want it to, yeah, look like a nice little triangle right there. So how's something like this? What do you think? Other turns? That good? Yeah, I know I need to adjust the hair sitting on top, but yeah, I think that's good. Now I can make this tunnel look nice. We're just gonna do all the tunnels today. So many little hair tunnels. I wonder where they all go. Now I can only picture in my head of just the idea of trains running through hair tunnels. Honestly, Shalom's hair tunnels are big enough that I could totally picture a train running through them. I'm of the opinion that trains are pretty neat. When my husband and I play Factorio, I like just any excuse to plop down a train somewhere. There's fighting strategy for dealing with the enemies in that game that I really like. They call it the train saw defense, where you just run a big old train around your factory, and anything that comes through there just gets run over by the train. I think it's incredible. I've never run a proper train saw, but I think it's hilarious. And the name is, whoever coined that term was very smart. You have my appreciation, random guy. You have great naming taste. Okay. Still a little bit wrinkly, but I want to see how it's coming along. Ooh. Yeah. I mean, I still have to fix some things in kind of this underneath area, but, like, look at the tunnel itself. Just the way it kind of goes up and we see a little bit more of that shadow area right underneath. I rather like it. And it doesn't even feel too pointy. Okay, I am happy today. Today is a good day. I've been having trouble sleeping lately, and there's been a couple of times where I'm just like, is it a good idea for me to stream in kind of this half-asleep state? But it's like, when I think about it, I'm just like, but I want to work on my model. I want to do more with the model. And so I do it, and so I stream anyway. Just because I want to work on it, and it's like, oh man, today is one of those days where I feel it. I kind of dozed off on the couch a little bit before stream today, so I'm a little bit less dead than I otherwise would be, but it's like, who cares? I just want to work on the model. I want to bring on that goal. Let's see if I can finish the head turns by the end of the year. Honestly, at the rate I'm going, I might even be able to finish 2 of the 3 remaining head turns before the end of the month. I feel like this one's actually been going really fast. Like, is it just me, or is this one just coming together? Or am I just getting less caught up on things than I normally do? I don't know. Are we gonna go for the Strand from Hell and I just have to spend 4 sessions getting all that into place? It's always hard to say, but I do feel like this one's coming along a little bit better than the last one. And I thought the last one was coming along a little bit better than the one before, so it bodes well. The power of practice. So right now I'm just trying to kind of line up this area with the right head turn. I felt like it was sliding around in a few places, and well, that's just no good, so. And you know, it's like when I started this, I actually just planned on going in and taking a look at the side bang here, but I got distracted, so... And, you know, it's fine. I do think it's good to have a bit of an order to do things in, but it doesn't have to be, like, super hard and fast. Let's be real, when it comes to drawing stuff for me, it's like I never do things in the same order, it's fine. When it comes to painting, I just kind of like to figure out some of the most important spots of whatever that painting is. Just get the compositional elements down and the focal points and all that stuff. So most of the time that's a face. But when I get around to finishing my video for the picture of Zero that I worked on, you'll find that I went back and forth between, like, the face and her boot and various other parts quite a lot. I was jumping all over the place. So even though I say generally, I just kind of pick a spot and go and figure it out from there. It's like, it doesn't always happen that way. Because in the end, the most important thing for my personal process is just getting it to a point where I like looking at it. It's so much easier when I actually like the way it looks. And it does take a little while for me to get the picture to a point where I actually like looking at it. I always think that they look pretty bad at first. Pretty much always. I can't think of one where I just liked the way it looked, like, right away. At least not for anything super serious. For some of my, you know, speed paints, I get those looking pretty okay pretty quickly. Like the spot where everything looks bad actually goes away relatively fast. But for most, it takes much longer. It can take a little while before I like looking at it. The one with Zero, I considered scrapping it several times because I just could not get it to look good. It took me, like, I don't know, a few days before I even trusted that I had something going at all. I was seriously considering just giving up and trying a new idea. But normally doesn't take that long, fortunately. But even once I reached a point where I was like, okay, I think I've got something going here, it still took a few more days before I actually liked looking at it. I had a lot of perspective to figure out, and things weren't really looking good until I figured out the perspective, and the perspective on it was pretty tough. It's like it had a really extreme worm's eye view going. It's like I have it up on the community tab if you haven't taken a look already. I haven't uploaded it to my other social media yet, except to Twitter, so I could submit it as a contest entry. I wanted to make sure I had it up by the deadline because I wasn't sure if I would have the video ready in time. And it's good I did because, you know, it's already the 23rd, and I don't know if it's going to be ready today. But it's up there if you guys want to take a look. So I'm pretty happy with how it came out. It was honestly just so much fun to work on. Being able to just use all these bright colors and the really extreme worm's eye view that I had going, and the just raw chaos in the composition. I'm really, really not used to drawing anything that complicated. Or I guess I shouldn't say complicated. It's not super complicated. It's just super chaotic. Yes, I'll say chaotic. I think that's a better term. And I think it better suits Zero anyway. She's not a complicated lady. She's just a chaotic one. Alright, just smoothing out all the things in the side bang here. Think I'm getting it all into place. Okay, so what I'm looking at now is again in this area. Watch how, when I'm on the upward turn, how it kind of really gets, I don't know, super squished. I don't know if I like that. So let's see if I can do something about it. I think that means just that I need to pull this out a little bit more. Maybe something like this. But I just don't like how, like, super squished it all looked. It might also still be a problem with the upward turn. I'm not wholly convinced that the problem lies in the upper right turn here. But I do think that there's a few areas that I can fix up in here, and that will help the problem that I'm seeing. So I'm doing those first, and then I want to go back and see if I need to go make some adjustments to the top head turn in that area. Well, I guess it's okay. If anything, this should be a little bit more like, let's see, like that. It looks a little bit stretched out, but is that correct? Yeah, I think I see what's happening here. I think I pushed it up just a little bit too high, though. I'm not quite sure how to describe what is happening here, but it all has to do with the location of where this sits on the bang there. And currently it is not entirely accurate on all my turns. So I just need to get it on over there. Get it on over to where it belongs. And even if all of this is highly squished like this, I can still make stuff like that happen. But today is also just a day of let's fix up random stuff that I'm noticing. Hooray! It's okay, I feel like that happened a lot in the upper left turn as well. So one particularly big reference point that I have on the side bang here is this spot right here, where there's kind of these highlights and then this big shadow right in between them. And that's a place where I can very easily test the angles and make sure that everything is moving correctly relative to it. Right now I am not so convinced that it is. But, it's better than it was. That'll probably be the first thing I work on tomorrow. So I think this is actually where I will end for today. Oh, thank you all for coming. If you'd like me to take a look at your own creative projects, whether that be art, writing, coding, game design, or any creative pursuit you can think of, feel free to message or add me on the social media platform of your choice. I'll take a look. Maybe leave some comments. I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.